All right, so I went to the local finance board meeting, and I think the clip explains it. So, apparently, to me, it looked like they were lying. There were a bunch of people, not the local finance board, the freeholders. A bunch of people came over at the May 3rd meeting. A lot of employees were getting laid off, and I went up and asked, well, how many, you're doing this refinancing of UCIA bonds, how many layoffs will this save? And they knew nothing. But 6 days later, under oath, county representative knew the answer. So this is how I presented it to the freeholders, looking for an explanation. I just had one thing. Last meeting, May 3rd, there were a lot of, well, Runnels people who were getting laid off. And I asked, I think a couple of people asked, whether that UCIA bond refinancing of the Park Madison and JV juvenile detention project, you know, how would that affect the layoffs, how much money was coming in? And I think literally 3 or 4 times there was an I don't know answer. Now, last Friday, I had occasion to be in Trenton with my camera. And I went to the local finance board meeting where these 2 items were on the agenda. And it was said, and it passed. Thomas Neff made a point of saying you would never vote for this type of thing again. It was kicking the can down the road, irresponsible, just a lot of stuff. I mean, it was a one-shot deal. You didn't get bidding for NW Financial. There was nobody there from the UCIA. I mean, he got all this kind of, he really, I mean, he was holding his nose as he was voting pretty much.
Did he vote for it or against it?
He voted for it. They all voted for it.
Oh, all right.
I mean, unusual, I mean, unanimous vote. Who would have thought? But he did do that kicking the can down the road, and I mean, it really should have been there. Actually, probably really should have been there. There should have been some freeholder representative, but I know you're busy. But his point, he made the point at the 25th that at the last meeting, this was on the agenda a few times. It first appeared April 11th and May 9th in the supplemental meeting. And he said at that May 9th meeting, some county representative under oath said that this passage of this would bring in $2 million, $987,000 under one, and a little over $1 million on the second, and would avoid 35 to 50 layoffs, which I'm guessing were in the social services, which is why CWA person came up here and, well, did whatever she did. But that's a 6-day difference. May 3rd, nobody knew anything. May 9th, under oath, a county representative knew the answers to the questions, how much was coming into the budget and how many layoffs would be avoided. Now, I was just going to open this up and have you explain, but since you're not answering questions, I have 4 options. So you don't have to comment on these. This is kind of in the inverse order of probability. Like the first option is that something did change between May 3rd and May 9th. Now that's just ridiculous because this thing came in April 11th. You did a resolution. It was also on the board. The papers were done way before that. So the numbers had to, number one, I kind of thought, I discounted that immediately. A second point is that the county spokesman at the May 9th meeting was just making stuff up. Now, I discounted that too because he was under oath, or she was under oath. I mean, who knew who it was? Now, the next logical things are the May 3rd meeting, you lied. You didn't, I mean, you knew, but you didn't want to say anything. Or the other option is that you, as a board, are just out of the loop. I mean, you're just told to look pretty and leave the decisions to the grown-ups. That's where I'm at. So if you want to comment, which is it? Otherwise, we'll just leave it like that.
All right, Mr. Barry. Anyone else wishing to speak?
And that was it. They didn't answer. I'm looking at 4. I mean, seriously, 1, 2, 3, I don't think have a chance, a prayer. That's a 1% chance that they wouldn't know, that the county spokesman lied under oath, please. That that they were lying. Actually, for what they are, I don't think they would outright lie. I mean, that's not all 9 of them at once anyway. So I think I'd go with option 4. I think they were just not told. Like, this is NW Financial, this is whoever's Dakotas, they're running this stuff. And, you guys, we'll take care of it. Just, here, have another donut, that kind of thing. And
NW Financial was there tonight, too.
yeah, for the bond thing. I think if there were any questions on the bonds. But it is a little irritating when you go up there and they ask a question and they don't, well, I don't know. Well, again, I don't think they were lying. I think they just weren't told. And that's kind of disturbing because that should be the first thing they were thinking about. You pass this, we get $2 million, and we save $35.50. Now, the fact they didn't know that at the May 3rd meeting, it's troubling. And again, I don't think they're lying. I don't think they're that type, but I think they're the token type, that they don't just take an interest. That there was no freeholder at the local finance board meeting. B.B. Taylor came late, and there was nobody from the UCIA, which Thomas Neff made a point of saying, this is a UCIA bond. Where's your UCIA representative?
Yeah, get Charlotte down there in a little cart, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there was the Dakotas guy, the NW Financial guy, and the people making, I don't know, $200-$300 an hour.
Yeah, who that's father was probably there.
Yeah, charging for whatever their hourly rate is plus travel.
$1 million they get to split up.
Yeah, and who knows the way this deal is structured? I mean, who knows if it's going to benefit? But apparently, NW Financial is taking the financial on these last 2 bonds anyway. They're taking a hit, so maybe the county won't blow up on their face. But that was the point I was making. These, they really should have come out and knew May 3rd what was going on, and maybe a little more interest on their part in the workings of this. Will save layoffs in the future or mess ups. So that was that part of it. Now the next part is layoffs, and privatizations, and what they're going to do in the future. There was something here at the meeting where they were pretty much came right out and said this group of people is going to get laid off, and we'll get into that in the next part.